battle trend is definitely here to stay. It is everywhere, from high-end catwalks to high street stores and even online. Think of anything: a dress, a top, a jumpsuit, a playsuit, and even some trendy jackets. All come in this very comfortable and really stylish neckline, which is the off-the-shoulder neckline. And in this video, I'll be showing you guys 3 easy and really cheap ways to make your own crop tops, and they're quite easy to follow. So if you want to see what these ways are as well as the outcome, keep watching. If this is your first time watching any of my videos, thank you so much for joining us in this one. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. The button is down below, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you get notified every week whenever I have new videos. So without further ado, let's jump straight into this video, guys. These are the patterns that I need. So I need a front and a back that I have adapted to suit the battle crop design, and I've added 5 centimeters at the hem and around the shoulder as well, and I sort of did the same thing on the sleeve. So when everything joins up together, you have that 5 cm allowance all the way around the neck and around the hem of this top, and you see why during this tutorial. So this is the fabric I am using, which is a stretch jersey that has burgundy, white and black stripes. It's quite trippy on the eyes when you look at it for too long, but yeah, this is the fabric I'll be using. And the first step is to lay out all the patterns the way I want them to go, because I want the stripe to go horizontally across my body. I've laid it out in that direction, so I'm just going to quickly cut out the pieces I need. I need 2 sleeves, a front and a back, and I've cut them on a fold because I don't want any seams either in the front or the back of this top. At this point, these are the number of pieces I have. So I have 2 sleeves, one for each side of the blouse, and then a front and a back that have both been cut on a fold. So I just have 1 piece of a front, 1 piece of a back. So the next step I will be working on is to knitting up all the edges using my overlocker. I can get away with not doing this, but because I intentionally want some of these edges to show as part of the design of the top, I just did it anyways. So the next step is to join the side seams of this top. So I'm just quickly going to sew that using a normal stitch on the 1 centimeter seam allowance of the side of this top. So I'm just quickly going to stitch this down before going ahead to work on the sleeves of this top. So the first thing I'm going to do about the sleeves is I'm going to join the sides all the way from the top to the bottom, and before going ahead to fix the sleeves into the top. For me, the easiest way to attach sleeves is to fold out the top and the sleeve in the right direction, and then pin together the 2 side seams. That's the side seam of one side of the top and the side seam of the sleeve, and then join the 2 top edges before attaching together the other sides with pins. So once you take it to the machine, you just sew one continuous stitch from one end to the other end, and that's it. That's literally 1 sleeve done. So I'm just quickly going to take this to my machine and stitch it all the way around before going ahead to overlock the seam at this point. Overlocking the sleeve to the top at this point is like another form of joining them together and securing that part of the top, and it just looks really nice and neat when it's done. So I'm just going to go ahead and overlock the hem and the shoulder line of this top, so everything is good to look at, and it would be great for the design I have in mind, because what I want to do next is attach an elastic around the hem of this top and around the shoulder of the top so it doesn't fall off your body when you have it on. So to do this, I'm going to just estimate how wide my waist is and then stretch an elastic to that measurement and make a circle out of that elastic, which I would attach around the hem of the top. So I've gotten the elastic dimension I need here, and I'm going to take this to the machine and sew it together using a zigzag stitch. So when it stretches out, the elastics, they don't fall apart, or they don't pull out. Why can't I talk? Oh my god. So once this is done, I am going to go ahead and pin this onto the top, and when it gathers in together, it just ruches in the hem of this top. So I'm going to pin the center back of the elastic to the center back of the top, and the way to sew this on is as you sew, you pull the elastic while keeping the fabric flat, and when you release the elastic, it rouges up the hem of the top, as you can see here. So I did that for the hem and for the neckline, and I love the outcome. It's really simple, very flawless, really girly and elegant, and it's something that is so easy to make, and you can do yours as well. So that is batter crop top number 1. For the second method, I would be needing 3 patterns as well, a typical front and a typical back. And an easy way to actually get this battered silhouette is to just take away the top part of a typical front pattern or back pattern and fold in the bottom part to whatever dimension you like, and there you have it, and you just fit your sleeves around this circular portion. So this is a mini cape that I'm going to be attaching around the neckline or the shoulder of this top, and I would need 2 pieces cut on a fold. I'll be using this beautiful pink fabric that is so soft and so bouncy, and it has a beautiful quilted texture on its surface, and it almost feels like scuba, but it's not as thick as scuba. It is also quite stretchy and bouncy. So the next step is to lay down my patterns and pin them on the fabric the way I want, ensuring to cut the front and the back on a fold, so you only have 1 piece of a front and 1 piece of a back, and all you have to do is join the side seams together. So I'm just quickly going to cut this around and make any necessary notches and move on to work on the mini cape, which is this piece here. So I would need 2 pieces of this cape, 1 for the front and 1 for the back. So when I join them by the side, it becomes like a almost semicircular mini skirt that is sewn around the shoulder of this top. So this is the number of pieces I have, which is the front, back, and the drapey cape which I need. So the next step I would have to do is to join the side seams. So I've just pinned together the 2 side seams of this top, and I'm going to sew 1 centimeter away from the edge into the top using the regular stitch on my machine. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew this nicely neat and flat, and I don't need to overlock this fabric because it's quite nice when it's cut neatly and it doesn't unravel even after a long time of use. So once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and fold the armhole inwards by 1.5 centimeters, and it just looks really nice when it's done this way. It looks really beautiful. The next step is to work on the cape of this top. So I'm going to join the 2 side seams 1 centimeter as usual, and once that is all done, I'm going to attach it around the neck of the top I made earlier on. So the way to do this is just to pin the front to the front panel of the cape and the back to the back panel of the cape, so that top is underneath and the cape is on top. And what the underneath panel just does is protects you even if wind blows this one over. So once that is all done, I'm going to stitch 1.5 centimeters inwards to create a channel through which I'll pass an elastic band, and this would just create a really nice fitted battle neckline. So using a safety pin, I'm going to thread through a thin elastic all the way through the channel, and just ensure that it's tight enough to hold on my body but loose enough to move up and down while I have it on. So I'm just going to quickly cut off any excess elastic and stitch this down in my machine using a zigzag stitch and close up the hole that I made for the channel. So the final step is to create the effect I made on the first top, which was to create this ruching using an elastic, and it just secures the bottom of the top so it doesn't ride up when you have it on. And this is the outcome. Very girly, very cute. The fit, the finishing, everything is quite nice, and it came out really lovely. And it's something I know if I walk into like a high street store I might see, and it might be, I don't know, 15 pounds. But hey, I made mine and I think it looks really good. For the third design, I am using Ankara because I love to work with Ankara print, and this one has a beautiful combination of burgundy, pink and red in the most eccentric shapes, and it has gold dust all over its surface, and I just think it's a gorgeous fabric. So I will be using this pattern which I used from the previous design, and I'm going to need 2 pieces of this shape. So I am going to cut one for the front and one for the back, and the idea is once you join the two side seams, you have sort of a circular shape that you would wear over your body. So the next thing I'm going to do here is to quickly cut this off and just making sure it comes out really nice and neat. So I'm just quickly going to cut it around the bottom and around the top of this crop battle design. So once I'm done cutting off this piece off the top, I would have two pieces, one for the front and the back, and two straps, which I would use to create illusion sleeves. That's what I call them, because they're actually not attached to the top, but they look like sleeves once you have them on. So the next thing I'm going to do is to knitting up the edges of all of the pieces of this top, the straps, and the main top material as well, because Ankara is a woven fabric and it will fray like hell if I don't overlock it. So I'm just quickly going to do this on my overlocker and align the two pieces together for the main body, and I'm going to go ahead and join them by the side seam at 1 cm allowance. So the next thing is to work on the illusion sleeves. So I have put the two sides together and I'm going to join them on my machine, and the next thing is to fold it inwards by 1.5 centimeters to create a channel, which I will thread elastic through. I think elastic is the one thing I use so much in this tutorial, so yeah guys, you need loads of elastic in your supply. So I'm going to create the same channel on the top, and I'm going to thread elastic through the same channel as well. So the idea is to leave an opening where the elastic would go through and not to just sew all the way around. So through this opening you would pass through your elastic. So using my trusty old safety pin, I will use it to thread through my elastic band. So this is going to become the main body of my top, and I'm just going to do this nice and neat, and pulling out the excess elastic from that opening I left, I'm going to stitch together the elastic band so it's held in properly in there. So using a zigzag stitch, I have stitched this down, and I'm going to close up the opening on my machine before going ahead to work on the illusion sleeves. For the sleeves, I am going to thread through an elastic band. So you want to ensure the elastic is short enough to hold the sleeve up on your arm, but not too tight so you don't like get bruises whenever you have the top on. So once I have threaded that through and I'm satisfied with the result, I'm going to stitch that down using my machine. And this is the outcome. It almost looks like a tiny girl's dress, but the idea is to wear the main body over your bust and have these two illusion sleeves worn separately. So when you put your hands down, it looks like you have a battle top on, but when in essence you just have the top and two feathery sleeves hanging from your arm. So this is the outcome of this one. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I had an amazing time creating these tops, and I know I would enjoy wearing them during the summer here in London. I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would you be recreating any of these styles? Let me know. Until my next one, have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.